Hey there everyone, Big Jim here again for part 2 of my speedrun tutorial explanation thingy. Um, this is level 7 here. This is Karnak 1 in the editor and Unearthing the Sun in game. This is another big open level like level 6 where there's a lot of sand and the sand whale, and you basically have to take a normal route through the level. It is very not non-linear, but it's not a straight line, so it is technically non-linear from my point of view. So of course, as a speedrunner, the first thing you think is, well, I start here, and I need to go over here where the end trigger is in this little building. So how's the fastest way I could do this? So you think, well, I could go through the level normally. That's extremely slow because although you go through normally, you would start it here, it goes down, around this way, through here, underground, do some stuff, come up, around this way, through here. Over here, you're getting pretty close, but there's no way to actually get up into there from here. And you're still wasting some time going around underground and stuff. Oops, my camera sort of flipped out. Because when you go underground here, you slow down immensely, like to half your running speed. And that makes this part really slow. And then once you get out over here, it's not like you can just go straight to the end. There's a whole section where you have to collect keys and stuff, and it's just really slow. So what I figured out and what the previous runner figured out was, oh well, instead of doing the level normally, what if we just go around the sand whale? What if we just trick the sand whale in some way? And it took me a really long time to figure this out because it's a weird glitch, and I sort of found it by accident, trying to get around over here near the end of the level. Because I thought, well, here's the exit. If I can go around this wall, around this side, and then up over, I can get to the exit. So I messed around and I messed around and I messed around with a whole bunch of different setups, and I was like, how do I get this to work? And then eventually I got a glitch, which was actually, ironically, due to me cheating. I was flying from here across this way. This game has a really good set of console commands and stuff, by the way. Just because I didn't want to have to walk through the whole level to test some stuff out. So I got over here and I turned off my cheats or whatever, and I started walking, and the sand whale like flipped out. He spawned like near me, but he didn't kill me, and I was like, what the heck is this? So I messed around with it for like a long time, and eventually I figured out I could do it over here, where I move in such a strange sort of pattern. I'll explain the rules of it later when I actually use it, because I don't use it in this run, spoilers. Where what you do is essentially run from here around here, across this corner, straight up here, around this way, along this wall, then straight along here towards this way, along this wall, and then cut across to here, along this wall on the outside, and then cut across over to here, where the ending is right around here. And that was pretty fast. That was definitely a lot faster than anything I could come up with at first. And then I checked the previous speedrun, and it turns out he does like exactly the same thing, so I was like, well, shit. I guess I'm glad I came up with this too. So maybe it's the best way if we both came up with it independently. And it stayed that way for an extremely long time. That was my route. Up till like a few days ago, in fact, like right before I released the speedrun that I did. And then in a much later level, I noticed entirely by accident that if a clear hits you against a wall, like dead on, and you sort of jump at the same time, it'll use that force to push you straight up over a wall, like a good 15 or 20 feet sometimes. It's a lot. So I was like, holy hell, I could just use this to skip over walls like in any section that has clears in them. So I thought, where can I use that? And the first section that came to mind was this. So I thought, well, if I can just skip over, this wall over here and then run over there, that'll skip me from going all the way around over here and doing wading strats and stuff to manipulate the sand whale. Now the problem with this is, my camera's getting all confused. There's all these triggers here that spawn enemies as you run towards this way. The one that triggers the clear to spawn is this one right here. And the problem is, there's all these enemies that shoot explosives. There's the scrapjack right here. There's this walker here, and then this walker that spawns over here, as well as a ton of kamikaze dudes. Now, since you're playing on Tourist, or I would assume if you're doing a speedrun, you'd be playing on Tourist, Clear are destroyed extremely easily by explosives and friendly fire and stuff. So the problem would be I'd run over here. Eventually I got this set up where the best place I would find to do it was right around here. And the clear would come and then something would blow them up and I'd be like, why? Why are you doing this to me? So I sort of have to stop and like clear out some stuff as I run along and clear out these guys. So yeah, eventually I got a nice setup where I could just stand over here. And you don't want to stand exactly in this corner, and it took me a very long time, like the same day I released the speedrun, to figure this out. You want to stand slightly off center, not right here. You want to be like here. And then the clear will come around this corner over here. They'll come around and then run straight at you and then pop you up over the wall. The timing is, I don't know. It becomes sort of like an instinct, like it's just reaction. You see him start to jump a little bit, or you see him a certain distance from you, and your brain says, okay, now hit spacebar, and you do. And it just goes whoop, and you pop right up over this wall. And then the run just consists of running over to here. He starts chasing you as soon as you get into this area of the sand whale. But you run over to here, then you hit a slow down area. And one of the reasons why you slow down above, even though you're on the surface and not inside a building, is below you is a huge underground maze of stuff. And there's no Z-axis based on the speed zones, I guess. They're not based on height. So even though you're above them, you still get slowed down by them. So I usually want to angle it so I hurry up this way, because that gets you out of the slow zone over here. Then I run along this wall, and this whole area along this wall, let me see if I can show it. From here to here, this big sandy area is all safe zone. So I just run straight across, and as soon as he pops up, I start hitting this way, because it means now is my time to run. So I run across here, I cut this corner, and I run along this one. By now he's chasing me again. And I run along this path over here, and I stop. I found a good place to stop, was right along this little thing that sticks through this wall. You just stop and wait there for a second, then he'll pop up again, then you start running again over this way. If you try to cut this corner, by the way, just to go straight to the end, he'll get you every time. You jump up onto this, you can sort of cut this corner, jump over here, and here's the end of the level. So we make it eventually. It's a little bit roundabout, but yeah. And that's it, and it's actually quite fast to do that route. Of course, there is a lot of chaos. There's like a million enemies over here that all spawn in. They're all shooting at you, soldiers and stuff. And this, one of these big walkers over here, I actually don't kill in my runs, because it would take a lot of time. So he could just randomly shoot rockets over here and blow up the clear as they get to you. Or the clear could come around this corner and a soldier could shoot it and cause it to flinch and not jump at you properly. Thankfully, there's like 4 different clear that come around, so you can adjust your setup if you screw it up the first time and still make it within a reasonable amount of time. So yeah, that's this level. Let's see, the next level is the one where I will show off the actual sand whale glitching and explain how that works, and that'll be a lot of fun, I think. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in a few moments. Okay, here we are. This is the Dark Bride, I believe, in-game, and the map is called Karnak 2 in the editor. This is another level where you start out underground, and thus I can't really show it off. But it's fairly straightforward. The only thing that's a little bit confusing is there's a room with a bunch of doors and a switch in the middle. Basically, you hit the switch in the middle, which opens up a door to your sort of front right, and you run over to that, and there's a switch in there which opens up another door, which opens up another switch to another door, which opens up another switch to the door that actually leads out of the room. And you just follow that pattern to get out of there. And there, it's pretty much a straight line until you get, as far as I remember, until you get to this room here. You come out from the underground here into this big open area where spiders will come down from the ceiling here. And this guy spawns up out of the ground, but as long as you hug this left wall, you can walk right around him. Then you run around a little bit, and you come up through this building here. Now as you run out here, you run across here, straight ahead, and you want to get up. The exit, I should mention, is over here, right over there. So you want to get up over this stuff, so the easiest way to do that I found was just to run straight over to this little pile of debris, jump up onto here. You can just sort of walk and jump casually onto this ledge and then up onto here. That's one of the easiest jumps in the game, surprisingly. You just seem to pop up there every single time. You walk along this broken stuff. I don't run here because I tend to run and then I just fall off and it wastes time. And walking is still pretty fast, and sort of jumping along this stuff. Get to around here, and this is where the sand wheel manipulation comes in. And it took me a long time to get the route that I have. At first, I was doing my own route, which was slow. Then I followed the previous speedruns route, which was a little bit faster. And then I sort of gained a lot of knowledge from speedrunning the game, routing and stuff, and I finally decided I would try pushing it to the limit, I guess. And I sort of found it half by just that attitude and half by accident, but what I do is well, let me go ahead and explain. I guess now's a good time to explain how the sandwheel glitch works. So normally a sandwheel comes at you, and it has this big radius of effect, a big area of effect attack, where it pops up. So say you're running out in the sand over here like an idiot, and you're like, oh, I'm having so much fun, and the sandwheel comes, and he slowly comes towards you, and then he finally gets to you, and he pops up out of the ground, and he kills you. Now, the sandwheel doesn't actually have to hit you to kill you. He can be like, say, pop up over here, and you can be standing, you know, over here, and it'll still kill you, and you're like, well, what the hell is this? And that's because, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but it's like there's a big area around the sandwheel that will just kill you. And what the sandwheel glitch effectively does is to remove that, among other things. And the way that it does it is, what you do basically, to sum it up, is you move out into an area. Let me see, where's the sandwheel map? I think this one's up here in the sky. Let's see if we can see it real fast. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Here's the sandwheel map. So you can see there's the red. This red over here is where you start and you run this way, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. And there's the ending right here, basically, as far as I can remember. Unless, actually, you know what? Hold on, let me check real fast if I have this right. I think it is. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you start here, and the end is, well, you don't start here, but you come up out from the underground here, and then the ending is right here. So the way to do the sandwheel glitch is I walk into this green area here, I jump up, and there's the wall, and I run up here, and I jump into this area where the green is. Let's go back down to earth. Right here, more or less. I stand in the middle. If you stand too close to the wall, it doesn't work. I stand right here in the middle. I wait a little bit. And while I'm waiting, what I do is I count. I look at these markings on this wall right here. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I know from experience that if you stand on this right here is the line. If you stand any more far forward from this, you will die. The sandwheel will get you. But if you stand right around here, the sandwheel won't get you. So that's as far forward along this wall as you can stand and still be safe. And if you try to stand away from the wall at all, the sandwheel will also get you. So this is as far forward as you can get. And then as soon as the sandwheel pops up, I begin running this way. And now you'll notice here, if I look at the color map thing, this is all black. So normally the sandwheel would just murder you here, and there's nothing you could do about it. But what I do is, with the sandwheel glitch, and the reason why this works, is that because I'm running against this wall, I barely make it here in time, by the way. It's really, really tight. Because I'm against a wall, and because I'm so close to the previous location of where he popped up, which is right about here, he immediately pops up again without starting from a distance and coming towards you. And for some reason that disables the area of effect, or I should say, yeah, no, that's correct, the big area effect of attack he has. So his hitbox still exists, and he's a pretty big dude, you know, he's like this big. So he'll pop up and try to hit you, and if his hitbox hits you, of course you still die. But because you're standing against a wall, it actually prevents it from like targeting you properly, because as far as I know, the sandworm has a let's see, I think the sandworm, I'm trying to remember this now in my head, if his model's even on the map, I don't even remember. I can't remember where I read this or where I saw this in the editor, but he interacts with walls, and he also interacts with underground spaces, which is why the trick works in the previous map. Basically, if you're standing, oop, I spun my camera upside down. You can do that in the editor, by the way, like this. If you're standing against a wall like this out of bounds of the normal play area, the sand will try to hit you, but he'll come up slightly off, and it's sort of not random, but it's based on your position and based on the position he was when he last appeared. So it's very consistent every single time, as long as you stay, you know, within half a foot of the same positions each time. So yeah, then you just run along here, and at this point, as long as you stay out of bounds and against a wall, he'll keep popping up. And then over here, another thing is that it doesn't have to be walls. Also, a safe area. Oops, I keep going underground. A safe area like this with the yellow line and stuff, and the green. If you're standing like this and you're running along here, he'll pop up too, because he sees this as like a wall, basically, where he can't go. So by running along here and lining myself up right, I'll basically prevent the sandworm from killing me as I sort of run along here. And then as he pops up around here, right on top of me, I start aiming this way, because this is what I found. If I aim any more forward this way, I'll die. So I aim right here at this corner, and he still almost gets me. If I was like a quarter of a second slower on my speedrun, or my reaction times or whatever, I would die. But then you basically want to just hug this wall and keep doing the glitch, and he'll keep trying to pop up, you know, and trying to kill you, but he'll miss every time. And you just keep doing that as you run along this wall. As you spin around this wall, you want to stay about equal with like this part that sticks out, not hugging the wall directly, because if you hug the wall directly here, this is around where he pops up again, and he'll kill you through the wall. He'll pop up on the other side of it, and his hitbox will clip through the wall and kill you. So you want to be here instead of here. Like right here, actually, instead of here. So it's a very tight thing. But he'll pop up there, and then he'll pop up again when you reach about here-ish. And then that's when you want to angle, because you want to get around. The ultimate goal is you start here. Remember where we sit up on here? Jump to the middle. Jump over this way. Or just run over this way, I guess. Sandworm pops up first time. Run this way to this wall. Sandworm pops up second time, but misses. Run along this wall. Get around to like here-ish. You want to run straight forward and start strafing this way. Sandworm pops up again, misses. Sandworm pops up again, misses around here. Sandworm pops up again, misses around here. Run over this way. Sandworm pops up again, misses. Miss as long as you're not hugging the wall. Miss. And around this point is when you want to start angling and curving this way towards the exit where we want to go, because the exit is right here behind this little wall. And the only way to get to that is to go around this way. So you want to curve, and you can sort of judge. I count 5, I think, of these markings on the wall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I just sort of run towards this mark from over here. And you don't have to be hugging the wall, because there's a safe zone here. For some reason they put this, even though you can't normally get over here. Yeah, you can see it right there, the red and the yellow. That'll protect you. As long as you're hugging this wall, he can't get you anymore. So that's a good technique to use. So you can be like right here, and the invisible barrier of the safe zone will actually cause him to pop up and not get you. You can just run along here, and then around the back of this, jump up here, and then jump over here, and then here's the actual ending zone trigger right here. So yeah, that's this level. I tried experimenting with something that could just boost me up over this wall. And I couldn't find anything. If only some clears had spawned here, this level would be a lot shorter. But sadly, no such luck. Some Syrian wearables still spawn in the second wave, but that takes way too long, and they're way too unpredictable as opposed to clear. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and it will continue. I don't know why I'm saying that. This is just, we're barely getting started here, folks. This is just the beginning. We're going to move on to let's see, I believe 8 is the next level. So yeah, and I'll see you then. Okay, well, here we are again. I just lied to you a few moments ago. This isn't level 8. That last level was level 8. This is level 9. Luxor, as it's called in the editor, or let's see, what's it called? The Power of the Underworld in-game. This is another level that went through a lot of design changes, or route changes, I should say. You start out in this little area, you run through this building, and you run out. There's a cutscene here that you just skip by mashing mouse 1, basically. and you run out through here. Now, my route originally and the previous speedrun route were pretty similar. They both had you coming around this side and doing sand whale manipulation to get around this wall, basically using the same methods I showed before, and then around over here, and then around over to the here, which is where the last area is. This is what you want to aim for, this big trigger here. That starts the last arena fight, which then eventually spawns the boss. And I used that route for a long time, and then I discovered something by accident, and it's the only area in the game I know that I can use this, and I'm sure there's some other areas I can do it in, and I don't know. It might be useful somewhere. It might actually save time somewhere, but I couldn't figure out a way to do it. What the trick involves is it has to do with the way the sand whale appears when you first enter an area like this, and I didn't mention it before. This is what I didn't mention on level 6 because I didn't think it was important enough at the time, and I wanted to save it for this level. Whenever you enter a big area like this with the sand and stuff, and the sand whale will appear off in the distance somewhere just to say, hey look, there's a sand whale here, don't go off the map, basically. And I thought that was always just like visual, you know, like, oh, that doesn't mean anything, I'm sure. But I found one day completely by accident, I was just doing my route, which was to run along this wall to about here and then move forward, because this is a safe zone basically, along this wall. And then move up, trigger the sand whale, move back over to around here-ish, and then sort of run forward and go around, doing things basically a normal way. I found by accident, what I did was, I came through here like normal, and I sort of didn't look this way, I just sort of turned and I ran along this wall, trying to like save frames or whatever, right? I ran along this wall and I just ran this way, and I got like all the way to around here, and instead of, I just tried running across like a real smart ass, right? It's like, oh, what if I just try to run straight there, even though I knew it wouldn't work. I got to around like here, and instead of popping up over here and slowly coming towards me, it just popped up right on top of me and killed me instantly, and I was like, what? What is this? This shouldn't be happening. I didn't trigger any sort of sand whale glitch, I just walked here normally. So I was like, well, how does this work? And then I eventually realized that if you don't, I don't know if it's a look trigger or what, but if you sort of just don't look over here, if you just hug this wall and keep your view at an angle like this as you run along this wall, the sand whale won't actually trigger until you move out of the safe zone, at which case it triggers in the distance, you know, and does its woo thing to show that it's there. So what I found was I could run along this wall around until, it's kind of hard to tell in the editor, to see the markings on the ground, right here I think. Then if I aimed this way and I started running, he would pop up over here, and by the time I got to this wall, he would just be entering the ground again, and when I got here he would just pop up instantly and miss without having to do the normal sand whale manipulation stuff. And then I just did the route like normal, and that saved a good like 10 or 15 seconds. So I was like, holy cow, this is really cool that I found this. And then hilariously, it all became obsolete when I found the clear skips, and realized I could just use clear to push myself over walls. So what I do now is I run out through this building, and then instead of turning left I turn right and just run towards these clear that I know are over here. Run through this trigger, I think that spawns them, or maybe they're already just here. You run into this area to trigger them, and you run back, and these pillars you want to walk to this and then start running again. If you run the entire way, the clear will actually lose I guess aggro on you and not follow you, but if you just walk this distance exactly, they one of them will follow you and be enough distance behind you that by the time you get over to this wall, he'll be just coming around the corner and you have plenty of time to set yourself up. And just jump whenever he comes, and you go whoop, and you'll fly like way up fast over this huge wall and into this area, at which point you just run straight across into the final area. So that saves a ton of time as opposed to running around the entire level. This section is fairly straightforward when you know how to do it. I didn't know how to do it when I first did it until I eventually read Ryson55's speedrun notes when he did his, and learned what enemies you have to kill to actually spawn the next enemies you have to kill and so forth. What I do is I grab the cannon right away and the cannonballs that are here, and I also grab the Devastator ammo and some minigun ammo, and I switch to the minigun and I run somewhere around over here, and I basically wait for the 3 werebills to spawn in. Those are the first 3 enemies you have to kill. One of them usually spawns right around here, another one somewhere over here-ish, and then another one over here-ish. So by the time you kill this one with the minigun, and then spin around, the other one's right around here, kill that one, and you run this way, and the other one's right around here, and you kill that one. The scorpion guy then spawns a few seconds later, like maybe 10 seconds later right here. I usually take him out with the Devastator, and then run across over here, and then I have a long, like 20-second period or something before the next scorpion guy spawns in somewhere in this area. And I usually take him out again with the Devastator, then quick switch to the minigun to take out this walker over here, because the walker starts walking to the left like this. And I take him out before he gets behind this building, and then I run this way. Take out the next walker, which just spawns as soon as I get here, over here, with the minigun, then I wait around here. Because this guy can spawn, I think, somewhere in this range. I just wait until he spawns, then I use my cannon to do a full charge, one-shot kill him. And then I start running this way, and then the Witch Bride spawns up over there. And as soon as, really you can time it so that before she starts attacking you, you start charging your cannon shot. And you can just take her out in one hit too. And then after you've killed all those enemies in that order, the boss spawns in, and you take it down the same way you take it down in level 5. Except that it has more HP basically. So you use cannon shots on the ports to quickly take it down. And yeah, that's it. There's quite a bit of time after you defeat it before the actual ending cutscene starts. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't actually matter what you do, because when you start the next level, you don't have any of your weapons, and I don't think your health or armor are the same either. So basically just run around until the level ends. And that's it for this level. It's really short whenever you know what you're doing and know this route. So yeah, next level, got level 10 coming up. We're almost there to the end. So I'll see you then. Well, here we are, level 10, the Lost Temples of Nubia, otherwise known in the editor as the Lost Nubian Temples, or actually just Lost Nubian Temples, or to be perfectly accurate, 10_LostNubianTemples.wld. Anyway, this level starts kind of like level 1 starts, where you're knocked out from a helicopter fall. What do you know? Seems to keep happening to Sam. You can skip out of that animation by again clicking and just sort of running forward. And this level is very straightforward. You just run over here, and then you run along this wall, and the Sandwell zone extends, safety zone extends far enough out that you can just run way out here until you get to around this broken wall. You start curving this way. And the final type of Sandwell glitch is shown here, where once you get to about here, the Sandwell will keep coming towards you and actually pass underneath you. Oops, I spun like upside down. And just keep going, as long as you just stand on the solid terrain here, inside the safe zone. And you can use this to your advantage by just I sort of move slowly over here, give Samuel plenty of time to get his ass way over there. And as I'm walking this way, I start just running full tilt, because this is the danger zone again. And so at this point he spins around over there wherever he is and starts coming back towards me, and I'm running this way and he's chasing me. And there's just enough leeway that you can run all the way across all this stuff and over to here to the safe zone again, without him killing you. Now, depending on how you did it, if he pops up right after you get to the safe zone, you can run along the outside of this wall. And it's actually a bit safer because you're protected from all the stuff spawning in this zone. And then jump over this way and continue. But if he doesn't, and he's still like, you hear him burrowing still, it's safer to go on the inside here, because sometimes he'll just pop up instantly right here along this wall and kill you, so there's no real point in risking it. In any case you run along here, there's some Syrian werewolves and stuff that spawn and try to screw you up by ramming into you and knocking you all over the place, these guys. I usually pick up the assault rifle here and some armor, and then just run through here, through this building. The exit's way over here, by the way, at the end of this like ravine or whatever. When you're running, you come out through around here, and then a witch bride spawns somewhere like in here, and she starts slowing you down with her attack. So you just shoot her to make her stop, and then you just keep running. She only appears once usually to me, or none at all if I get like really lucky. Oh, and these are, I think, I don't even know what type of walls these are. I can't even select these invisible walls, so they've never really bothered me. They don't seem to affect your player movement, so I don't know. But yeah, you just run along this corridor, more or less. Dodge these, clear this spawn, and dodge this coom. I think that's what they're called. By the way, if you touch these guys, you instantly die. I think on any difficulty with any amount of life, you just die. So they can be kind of scary when you're around a bunch of like things that push you into other enemies. And then you just exit. Here's the end trigger. So it's a very straightforward level. Now, I have a little bit of an anecdote, which is that there's this glitch in this game that has to do with, I believe, the way that it handles getting onto objects, I guess, like that sort of mantle glitch I mentioned before where you sort of pop up onto objects. And again, it's based on frame rate, so if, say, I'm recording and my frame rate is just capped out at 60 because I'm recording at 60 frames a second, I can't do this glitch, even though I have 60 frames per second here. What you do is you sort of just jam yourself up between this pillar and this fallen thing. And if you move right and you sort of just spam jump and you sort of back up a little bit at a time, it'll shoot you out really fast. About, let me see if I can simulate it. Let me see if I can get the right speed. This fast, I'd say? Actually, probably a little bit faster than that. Like this fast. No, about like this fast, I guess. Nah, I'd say about this fast. I think I'm overestimating it a little bit. But it shoots you all the way over there. When I'm not recording, I got around 260 frames per second. And by doing this trick, it shot me all the way over here to around here. So, I imagine there's some way to do it that actually shoots you into somewhere useful, like over here. And you would save a few minutes of gameplay by doing that. But again, you can't record it because it's based on FPS and a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's really inconsistent, so you can do it in a single segment run anyway. But it's nice. It's a fun trick. You can try it. It'll also sometimes just shoot you like way over here or anywhere in between, depending on how what your angle is when you go in there and how you come out and which direction you're facing. But yeah, that's it for this level. Very simple. Just 2 more left, and I'll see you in a few moments. Well, this is it, level 11. This is Last Man on Earth, as it's called in the game, or Ramesium, as I'm sure I mispronounced it in the editor. You actually start underground. This is another underground level. I think you start over here somewhere. And I'll just go ahead and explain it. I'm sure if you're watching this, you've probably seen the speedrun. And you can just open that and see real fast how I do it. But there's a little, basically you run into a room where there's, let's see, how many doors? 4 doors. And there's actually a script for that room. It's called, I think, 3 switches, 4 doors, and I don't know why. It makes me laugh because it's so literal. That's exactly what it is. Basically there's 2 on either side, left or right of the room, and you start by going in the closest left door and then the far left door. You make, like, here, if this is the room that my mouse is here, you start in the bottom left, you go to the top left, then you go to the bottom right, and then the top right, and then that exits out into the next room, which is a big pit full of scorpions that you jump down on from above. Now, this room is a huge pain because of the way that hitting switches and stuff works in Serious Sam 3. And also the switches you have to hit in the room previous are also extremely difficult because of the way this works. But the button to use things and the button to melee enemies is the same button. So you're surrounded by these enemies all swarming around the switch that you have to hit. So if you're not very careful about aiming and being right up against the switch and you hit E, or whatever your use key is, you'll instead warp to an enemy and melee it, and you'll be lost and confused and you'll have wasted time, and it's just terrible. So you got to be very careful to hit the switch and then just run straight out of the room before you take too much damage. You run past some Gnars, and then you get to some purple dudes, some cannoneers. Let's see if I can figure out where that is. That's somewhere around... Oh. Let's see if I can see it on the map. I can't quite tell. Oh, it's this... It's somewhere over in here. You go down a big long flight of stairs and you get to this room. It's basically this big long tunnel. Actually, you come out right around here, and there's this big long tunnel. And you run up here to trigger this boulder that falls down, and you run back down, hide in an alcove. As soon as the boulder passes, you come out. It breaks the wall here, and then you come out, and then you press the switch. Now note that if the boulder is still here, and it's not even moving, and you touch it, you'll die instantly. That's no good. Don't do that. So you hit a switch that's here, and that starts there's these big rotating platforms here on either side that start turning around. At that point, you run up around. There's a big ramp that goes up and around this way. So then you're on the second floor here, and then there's these big spinning platforms, like I said, and you sort of jump from them across here and then up out this other side. And that actually goes right here. And then you climb up this long ramp and then out to here, and then cutscene triggers here-ish, and then you're teleported out to here, where this red square is. Now, at this point, is the third and last clear skip of the game, and it's the one that I originally found the clear skips way over here. One of them pushed me into a wall, and I flew way up and landed on top of it, and I was like, holy cow, this is amazing. So after a ton of experimentation of where can I get clear skips, I tried over here-ish along this wall, I tried along this wall, I tried some gates, I tried this gate over here, a whole bunch of stuff, and eventually I found, after literally hours and hours of just attempting these clear skips over and over and over, I found that the best way was to use this gate right here, because it's all a matter of lining them up so that they're straight coming at you, and then they jump at the right time, and then you jump at the right time. That's all the clear skips are. So I have it set up so I run from where I spawn in straight, and I aim for the middle of this broken wall right here, and I just stand against this, wait for the clear to come around, turn, and then right as he's about to jump at me, I start strafing right to go around him to this, and then I just sort of slowly walk and make sure I'm lined up and fully against this, and slowly turn around. Then the clear is either, here, or maybe he's over here if things went really wrong or whatever, but he's basically coming in a straight line. Then he comes at you, and you just boop, and you jump, and you go right over this fence, and you end up on the other side. So yeah, normally you would have to go from, let's see if I can show it. Oops. Oh wait, is that the sandwheel map? Here, we don't need this, we can just delete this. Sandwheel does not play any role in this. Here's the big area you start in. You start right here, you go out, and you go around through this, you go through this broken wall, go through this courtyard, into this courtyard, in through here, up through here, through this doorway, down this ramp right here you can see. At least I hope this all shows up well in the video. And then you run straight over here. Now, and then what I do is I just go here, and then up here over this little fence, up through here, and then through here. So instead of going all the way around like this, I just go like this. That saves a lot of time. And then what I do after that, and one of the things I failed miserably in my speedrun, was you can see this detector here is the trigger for these two witches that spawn in. Wow, that's a really weird, I'm not quite sure what's going on here with this. Oh, I guess those are the tentacles that normally drag behind them, but they're just straight out in the editor. In any case, this is the trigger that triggers them. And I realized, holy cow, you can just jump up on the side of this wall and over the trigger. And since these slow you down and cause you problems, I was like, well, hell, I'll just do that. And I did it in a lot of practice runs. And then in the actual run that was doing so well, I just moved a little bit too close into it and triggered him. So I had to fight him. After that, you have to climb up over this and then jump over to here. And then what I did was I almost ruined the run right here at this point, because all the Gnar caught up to me around this point because I was getting slowed down. And I started shooting him with the Devastator, and this thing blows up, by the way. Like, if you shoot this like a rocket at the ground right here, this whole thing will just explode and you'll be stuck. And the run will be over. So I was really lucky that the Devastator explosions didn't blow this up. I managed to still get a pretty good time running across these things and then out over here. You skip this trigger, which I think spawns in some enemies or something. So that's just a few less enemies that you have to deal with, and you run over here. Now we're to a sort of a pain, this part. Basically what the section is there's a car here that you need to fill with gas, with 8 gas cans specifically, and there's 10 gas cans in this whole big area. You can only carry 1 gas can at a time, so you basically have to figure out a route that you want to take that goes as fast as possible. So what I do is I come in through here, I grab this first gas can here, and I run around to the car, drop it off, and I turn around and I go to the farthest ones first just because I figure as more enemies spawn in, I want less and less distance to have to travel. I run through this way, sort of diagonally, grab the one that's over here, take it back, grab the one that's here, take it back, grab the one that's here, take it back, and then I start doing the ones that are on the side, which is this one way over here on the side, and run straight back and drop it here, and then run to this one over here, turn straight back, and when I get right around here, a witch spread will spawn right there, right here. So I'm aiming my Devastator or whatever ammo, whatever good gun I have up there, so that as soon as she starts attacking me, I can attack her and stop her from slowing me down. So I drop that gas can off, and then there's only 2 left, which is this one right there, where that green marker is, and then one that's right here. So I grab that one, run back, grab this one, run back, and then that's it. And it's not really too big of a deal. Those witch brides are the only thing that really cause issues, and they're taken care of because they always seem to spawn in the same places. So, yeah, that's it. This one is, I almost had my first run just completely choked here because I got this gas can over here and I started running back. I shot down the witch bride, and then instead of dropping off the gas can, I ran over here. And then I got really confused why I said I was missing a gas can at the end, and I was like, what the heck is going on? And I ran all around confused and just wasted a ton of time. So in any case, that's that story. So yeah, that's the level. Next is the very last level, which is very straightforward, so the video is going to be done in no time flat. See you in just a bit. Alrighty folks, this is it. This is the last level. The Guardian of Time, or as it's called in the editor, Hatshepsut Temple. Wow, I cannot spell that at all. Not spell. I can spell it because it's sitting right here right in front of me, but I can't say it. Hatshepsut Temple. Oh, that's good enough. In any case, you start this level with Sam's car having broken down, and he's clearly just driving like this absolute wreck of a car. I don't know how it even got this far. Oh, and I like how the license plate says Sam Forever and Texas. Thank you, Croatia, for giving shoutouts to Texas, I guess. You start with this level just running from the sandworm, which spawns over here. Here you can actually get a pretty good look at it. I don't think you normally get the chance. This is just a model. This is like a faraway model. This isn't like the actual sandworm model. I don't think. Maybe it is, but it looks a bit small actually. The actual sandworm I think is bigger, but I can't be positive. So yeah, you basically just start by running from it in here and grabbing this cannon. Now, one thing I'll note is if we take a big picture view of this here, well, not that big of a picture, hold on. Here's the first area you go through, right? You run straight through here, and this is a fairly straightforward path, as you can see. I mean, it's a bit windy, but you more or less have a straight route through here. And going around in any way would be a lot slower. However, there's a normal segmented attempt on YouTube that uses that, because trying to go through there on normal would just be suicide. In fact, I almost feel like I need to watch that video now, even though it's fairly slow, because it's on normal, and a normal speedrun of this game is insanely hard. Especially in this section, what I do is, in the previous video didn't do this. In fact, I think what he does is faster, but it caused me a lot of trouble, and I just had a lot of pain and torture trying to get it to work, so I just do it the normal route, basically, which is that you come out through here and you go through this big area. I should note that if anyone here is watching this and actually planning to do this, even on tourist, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, let's see, oh, I think I already missed it here. There's an armor somewhere around here. I feel kind of lost, hold on. It's right here somewhere. Yeah, right here. You might want to strafe over here and pick that up as you go around this corner, because you're going to need all the health and armor you can get for this level. Especially for this part right here, where like a billion, million, jillion kamikaze spawn in. They all want your blood, and it's really bad, and they're all exploding, and then these guys are just shooting rockets at you, and it's just terrible. Just terrible, I tell you. So I grabbed this armor too, just to have as much armor as I possibly can. And all these clear, like, trying to block you, and oh, spun around there. And these guys are spawning in and shooting rockets at you, and oh, it's just terrible. And there's a few other armors that you can pick up really easily as you run along here, if I can find them. Or I thought there was, I can't see him now. I know there's at least one. Oh, this one, I guess. And then there's another one against this rock over here that I pick up just in case. And then, so yeah, I was mentioning how the previous video did a sandwheel manipulation trick, the one I showed before on 10, where he stands here and the sandwheel just sort of keeps going off over this way. And then once it's far enough away, he can just have time to run over here and then back into the sort of safe zone and run along the top and then get to the trigger for the final area. Instead, what I do is I just run straight through these sort of windy corridors. The only really significant part is it's very, very, very dangerous here at the end, because a ton of Coom and a ton of, or actually I guess the name is Coom, whatever, and a ton of Syrian werewolves spawn in. And as I said before, if you touch these guys, you die instantly. So you have enemies which are running around faster than you that push you very far into the air and into different directions, and then you have a whole bunch of basically death triggers in the same area. So it's extremely frightening because you're trying to dodge all this stuff, and also you're dodging about like 50 clear here at the end too, and bulls, and you're just, it's terrible. You're just trying so hard not to die. But then you hit this trigger here and it's like safe, like you're done. The run is over at that point. At least on, I should say on Tourist, because on other difficulties this isn't possible, but you spawn in right around here after the cutscene plays. You spin around. You go into, let's see, am I in the right place? I'm not in the right place. There's actually 2 different buildings here. My bad. Actually, I'm kind of curious now. Is this? Interesting. Interesting. Is this what I think it is? Hold on, let me just figure this out in my head. Yeah, I think this is just an exact copy of this. They just moved all these buildings out over here, so they put this, like you're running towards this, right? And then you think, oh, that's where I'm going. And then the cutscene plays, and it actually spawns you way over here at a different copy of this. Which is a bit odd, but whatever. So yeah, you spawn right here, you spin around, you run into this building, and you grab the jetpack, which would be amazing in any other level of the game. What I wouldn't give for a jetpack. Holy cow. It's so fast, and it's so, like, just amazing in every way. You can just sort of tap space, and you'll jump up a little bit, and then you'll just slide along the ground super fast like this speed. You want to grab one of these poles, and then turn back towards the boss who's over here with his back to you. Fly up to him, and throw a pole into his back. Now, how this boss fight normally works is he's invincible, or he is invincible. He has really fast regenerating health, so you normally can't beat him just by attacking him. But if you throw those poles into his back, they act like lightning rods, and this big storm overhead will occasionally shoot down a lightning bolt and like stun him and take off some of his health in relationship to how many poles he has in his back. And it'll also take off his invulnerability for like 5 or 6 seconds. I keep calling it invulnerability. It's just really fast regen. And since this is on Tourist, you can do this just one pole, and then switch to your cannon and just unload all the cannonballs you have into him. And you'll have picked up some, if you run through this part at least. I think there's some over here too. Yeah, there's some in over here in the previous run. This is where you got him, but I pick him up since I run through this. There's a few different spots. There's one right here, one pile here, and then there's another pile right here of 3, and that's enough. So he's still fighting. You grab the pole, you fly up to him, throw it in his back, and then you just switch to your cannon and just start unloading on him. And about a few seconds later, he'll turn around, lightning bolt will hit him, drop his health even more, just keep unloading on him, and you beat him. And that's it. Very simple. There's basically nothing else to it, and that's the end of the game. I think I said everything that needed to be said, everything that needed to be explained. Normally this fight is much longer and much harder, and you have to go through many cycles and stuff, and it's just a pain on serious difficulty, but on Tourist it's extremely simple. So yeah, that's it. As you've probably gathered from these videos, there's a lot of improvements to be made. I like to act like, oh, this is like practically a perfect run, you know, saying stuff like that. But, I mean, hell, you noticed how I missed that sledgehammer in the first level. That would have saved me, I think, like 8 or 9 seconds. So, clearly I'm not like the best router in the world, as much as I'd like to think I am. So I encourage everyone watching this to give this game a shot if you really like this game and you like to go fast. This is quite a bit of fun. It's not as difficult as some speedrun games, and there's not as much like technical stuff. So yeah, have at it, and I hope you all enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the future whenever I speedrun some other game that I'm sure is really obscure and no one's even heard of probably. Bye.